Good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday. It's 11:30 Eastern Time, and that means it's time for another episode of First Chapter Fun. I see I'm live on Facebook. I see I'm live on Instagram, so wonderful. I'm here, and so are you. Good morning, Glennie. Good morning, Little Miss Fab on Instagram. How lovely to see you. I see Instagram has these new filters. I found a new filter on Instagram, and I'm looking at myself thinking, I wish I could just walk around with this filter over my face all day. That would be kind of neat. Takes about 10 years off me, at least. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I hope you had a great weekend. A long weekend even. It was Labour Day here yesterday. And normally the kids, my three, would have gone back to school today. But it has been delayed by a week, so they will be going back next Tuesday? No, next Monday on the 14th, and we'll see what that looks like. Good morning, Daisy. Good morning, Bex. We have lots of people joining already, which is absolutely wonderful. I'm so pleased to see you. Good morning, Glennie. Hello, Hank. So today, a lot going on today. Tuesday, good morning, Carla. Tuesday is always, not the only pub day, but it's often pub day, release day, new release day. And I want to give a shout out to Vanessa Lilly. Her second novel, For the Best, came out or is out as of today. And she was one of these good sports who allowed me to read on the original First Chapter Fun when I put it together on the 23rd of March, believe it or not, because First Chapter Fun has been going since the 17th of March. So I read for her. So you can find it, not now, but you can find it in the archive, both on Instagram, IGTV, and on Facebook. So good morning, everyone. For those of you who have not joined before, my name is Hannah Mary McKinnon, and this is the place where every Tuesday and Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, soon to be 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll go back to that, my fictional partner in crime, Hank Philippi Ryan, and I read the first chapter of a different book, so twice a week, the days with a T, on Instagram and on Facebook Live. Clearly we are authors, we are not audiobook narrators, but we try and do our very best to do the wonderful words and the wonderful authors and publishers who allow us to do this for you justice. So today we have, let me show you today's book. We have Don't Look for Me by the incredible Wendy Walker, and this book is amazing. So a couple of things before I start to introduce you to Wendy and to the book. First of all, if this is the first time you've joined, as I mentioned, we do save all of these recordings in our IGTV on Instagram and also on Facebook. And the new Facebook, it's under media and then videos. You'll find all of them there. This is episode, let me check now, 88. So if this is the first time you're watching First Chapter Fun, you have 87 episodes to go and catch up on. And we have recordings scheduled well into next year, well into the spring. So stick around. And it's so lovely to see you all. So many of you joining on a weekly basis or twice a week. It's absolutely lovely. And of course, you can always watch these later on if you can't make it at 11:30. Speaking of, as of September 15th, so is that next week? It is. As of next week, we are moving the readings to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. School stuff for me, getting the kids and whatnot. So we hope you'll stick with us. We'll remind you again of this on Thursday, of course. We'll put some stuff up on Instagram and Facebook too. Second, if I get booted out, if Facebook or Instagram suddenly decides that it doesn't like what I'm doing, then it's not you, it's me. Sometimes the connections drop. We don't have a storm going on right now, so hopefully we'll all be fine. But if you do lose the connection, it's me, and what I'll do is I'll come back and start the recording again, or the broadcast again, on the platform that booted me out. So today we have Don't Look for Me by Wendy Walker, and this book is incredible. And Wendy is watching, so you can leave her questions. You can ask her about the plot, you can ask her about all the international deals I'm going to tell you in a minute about. It's absolutely phenomenal. You can ask her what she's working on next. You can ask her tons and tons of things. and she will answer. Not only that, but last week I forgot to mention with Rhea Fry that there was a giveaway, and I wrote, because I always have notes, and I wrote right here at the top, giveaway, so I didn't forget it. So Wendy is going to pick a winner from either Instagram or from Facebook during the live broadcast, and she will send you a message later on if you are the lucky winner of a copy of Don't Look For Me. How cool is that? Now, I got my sticky mitts on a copy of this. Wendy sent me a copy because I read it and blurbed for her, gave her a quote, and I just inhaled it. It is super fast paced, it's eerie, there are just these wonderful characters. You don't know what's going on, you don't know why it's happening, you don't know who is exactly who, and it's absolutely beautiful. And not only that, but this is an ARC. So an ARC is an advanced reader's copy, advanced reviewer's copy, galley we also call them. And you see how it sparkles? It's sparkly. And this is an ARC, which is just absolutely phenomenal. It's a brilliant, brilliant book. And I absolutely loved it. So, not right now. Do this later. But make sure you go and follow Wendy on Facebook and on Instagram. She's under Wendy Walker Author. So make a note of that. Make sure you go and follow her. Make sure you leave a comment on Instagram and on Facebook, and you'll be in for a chance to win a copy of this gorgeous book, which publishes next week. Publishes on Tuesday. So you're getting a sneak peek, or a sneak listen, that would be, of this phenomenal book. So let me tell you about Wendy. I don't need my glasses right now, but I will when I read, because I'm blind. Okay, here we go. Wendy Walker is the best-selling author of All Is Not Forgotten, Emma in the Night, and The Night Before, with rights sold in 23 stuff of dreams, 23 foreign languages, as well as options in film and TV. Her next thriller, Don't Look For Me, ta-da, publishes next week on September 15th. Prior to her writing career, Wendy practiced law and worked as a financial analyst at Goldman Sachs. She's a magna cum laude graduate of Brown University and Georgetown University Law School. Wendy is currently at work on her next novel and managing a busy household in Fairfield County, Connecticut. So, you will find her under wendywalkerbooks.com, on Instagram and Facebook, Wendy Walker Author, and on Twitter, Wendy_Walker. And this is, of course, read with Wendy's permission and with her wonderful publishers. Why am I doing that? St. Martin's Press. I'm so excited to read the book. I still need to redo the back cover copy. So let me do that for you next. Here's that gorgeous book with a gorgeous close. It's just lovely. It's just so eerie. It's brilliant. All right. So this is the back cover copy of Don't Look For Me by Wendy Walker. The greatest risk isn't running away, it's running out of time. They called it a walkaway, the abandoned car miles from home, the note found at a nearby hotel, the shattered family. It happens all the time. Women disappear, desperate to start over. But what really happened to Molly Clarke? When a new lead comes in 2 weeks after the search has ended, Molly's daughter Nicole begins to wonder. In spite of their strained relationship and the tragedy that rocked their world, nothing about her mother's disappearance makes sense. Against her father's wishes, Nicole returns to the small, desolate town where her mother was last seen, determined to find the truth. The locals are sympathetic and eager to help, the innkeeper, the bartender, even the police, until secrets begin to reveal themselves. When Nicole learns about another woman who vanished from town, then discovers a small hole cut into a fence guarding a mysterious, secluded property, she comes closer to the truth about that night and the danger surrounding her. The night Molly disappeared began with a storm, running out of gas, and a man in a truck offering her a ride to town. With him is a little girl who reminds her of the daughter she lost years ago. It feels like a sign. It feels safe. And Molly is overcome with the desire to be home with her family, no matter how broken it is. She accepts the ride But when the doors lock shut, Molly begins to suspect she's made a terrible mistake. You know what they say about getting into strange cars, and then Uber arrived and people do it all the time. Anyway, that's a whole other debate. Don't Look for Me. I now have my reading glasses on, so you're all fuzzy, by Wendy Walker. And this is a reasonably long chapter, and I was trying to pick out bits that I to cut down the time, and I thought I'm not going to. So hunker down, boys and girls, because this is going to be not a super long read, but it's a good one. So here we go. This is Don't Look for Me by Wendy Walker. Chapter 1, Day 1. The sky grows dark as I drive. I tell myself to concentrate, to focus on the 2 narrow lanes of smooth black asphalt and the double yellow lines that divide them. The road feels like a tunnel carved between the walls of brown cornfields which flank the road on both sides as I go on as far as the eye can see. Darkness now hovers above and below, and from side to side, it's everywhere. I hear the woman on the radio talk of the storm, but she's muted by thoughts that will not relent as the events of this terrible day unravel in my mind. This stretch of Route 7 passes through an endless chain of small New England towns, not the quaint villages farther south, but the old industrial hubs that have been left to decay. Neglected farmland, dilapidated houses, abandoned factories, they stand like tombstones. I wonder where people live, where they buy groceries, where they work and go out to dinner, why they don't leave. The unease causes my shoulders to rise and my back to straighten. It's the same every time I pass through. These towns will haunt me well into the night. There's a gas station up ahead, the Gas and Go. It sits at the intersection of Route 7 and an eerie road that leads to the heart of one of these towns. I've never been down that road, and I don't ever intend to. Still, this seems to be the spot where outsiders find themselves in need of gas as they journey from southern Connecticut into western Massachusetts. There must be 6 boarding schools and small colleges which are accessed from Route 7. Sometimes I recognise cars, even faces, when I have to stop. And I will have to stop today. The gas light has been on for miles now. After the Gas and Go, it's 2 hours to my home at the southern end of the state. I've already passed the green welcome sign. Welcome to Connecticut. Home. It will be just after 9. My husband John will likely be out at the gym at work, having drinks with a friend. My daughter Nicole will also be out somewhere, anywhere that's not near me. She just turned 21, so she has options now. Options that keep me up at night, watching the clock, listening for the door. The dogs will bark and jump on my coat. They'll only want food. They save their affection for my husband. He was the one who brought them home after Annie died, so they've been his dogs more than mine. The house will smell like fantastic and lavender dryer sheets because it's Thursday, and on Thursday the cleaners come. I wonder if they'll remember to clear the ashes from the fireplace in our bedroom. It's late October and cold enough for a fire. John likes to sit in bed with the fire burning while he watches television. He had one going last night. He was asleep by the time I made it up the stairs, though now I remember that the fire had a fresh log. Conclusions are quick to follow, and one hand now covers my gaping mouth. Am I too sensitive? Am I just being too me, too Molly? I hear these thoughts with John's voice. Stop being so Molly. He has come to use my name as an adjective that allows him to dismiss me. But no, I'm not wrong about the log on the fire. He was pretending to be asleep. The day unravels, and I can't stop my thoughts. My son, Evan, attends one of the boarding schools off this road. He was recruited as a freshman to play football. He's a junior now and a starting lineman this season. I make this trip every other Thursday to watch his home games. The season's half over and they're leading the ranks. They may win the entire league this year. The drive is 4 hours each way. John tells me I'm crazy to make the trip twice a month. He tells me Evan doesn't care. Nicole has harsher words for me. She tells me Evan doesn't want me there, that I embarrass him by going, that he's not a little boy anymore, and he doesn't need his mummy watching him play. He has changed. She's right about that. He knows the power he has on the field. I hadn't seen it before today. It was in his stance, his walk, it was in his eyes. And it was in his cruelty. I wonder when that began. If it's new, or only new that I can see it. I waited for him outside the field house, where the team enters the locker room. I picture him now as the day plays out again, slowly, painfully. How he walked with his friends, the enormous bag hanging over his shoulder, high tops unlaced, baseball hat turned backward, and a mischievous smile that probably had something to do with talk about a girl. In that moment, before his eyes caught sight of me and his face changed, I felt my heart fill with pride. These thoughts come, and like the log on the fire, they don't go. My boy, my sweet Evan, the easy middle child, walking like he owned the world. A smile pulled clear across my face as I waited for his eyes to turn and see me at the door. And they did turn, and they did see. And then they widened and looked away. He grew closer, and still they did not return to me. He positioned himself between two of his friends and passed through the door, leaving me in awe of his dismissiveness. It's just now, 111 miles later, that I feel the bite of it. My vision blurs. I wipe my tears. Christ, I hear John. Stop being so Molly. He's a teenager. But the thought won't leave. This image of his back turned as he walked into the building. I look up at the dark clouds stirring in the sky and see the sign for the gas and go sitting atop a giant pole. The storm is a hurricane, and I'm driving right into its path. John said this was another reason I shouldn't make the trip today. The school could cancel the game if the storm got too close, and even if they didn't, I'd surely run into it on the way home. The storm, Evan not caring, and Annie. He stopped short of saying it, but the words lingered between us. Today is the anniversary of her death. 5 years ago, on this day, we lost our youngest child. She was 9 years old. No, I will not think of Annie. I will not go backward. I will go forward. Put one foot in front of the other. I learned this in grief counselling. I used to be a middle school science teacher where the focus is on learning to analyse problems by breaking them down into pieces and forming hypotheses. So I studied grief that way. Objectively, clinically. We are not wired to witness the death of a child, to endure it, to survive it. But like every other human defect, we have used science to outsmart our own biology. We can take a brain that's shredded ear to ear, and we can put it back together with mantras like this one. Mantras that have been tested in clinical trials, vetted in peer articles and TED Talks, and now appear in self-help books. You just put one foot in front of the other, Molly. Every day, just one more step. Had I not had other children to care for, I would not have been able to take these steps. I would have died. Let myself die, found a way to die. The pain was not survivable, and yet I survived. Forward. But the day continues to unravel, back now to the morning. Nicole was just coming in from one of her nights. I don't know where she slept. Her skin has gone pale, her hair long and unruly. She's become lean from running. She runs for miles and miles. She runs until she's numb, head to toe, inside and out. Then she sleeps all day, stays out all night. She's a lean, fierce, unruly warrior, and yet the pain still gets inside her. "Where have you been all night?" I asked. The usual exchange followed about how this was none of my business, but it was my business because she's living in my house, and what about her GED class and trying to dig herself out of this hole? But it's my fault she's in the hole. She's in the hole because of Annie and her grief, and because not everyone can just get over it. But When is she going to stop using her sister's death as an excuse for getting expelled from her private school senior year, never going back? She shrugged, looked me straight in the eye. When did she become like this? This soldier, ready to fight off anyone who comes too close. What about you? When are you going back to work? She asked. She likes to remind me that I, too, stopped living. Breathing, yes, but not really living. I had no response to my daughter this morning. I had no response to my son this afternoon. I didn't even see Evan after the game. I waited by the door, but he must have gone out a different way. I almost marched straight to his dorm to tell him what I thought of his behaviour, to do what a mother does when she knows she's right and when her child needs to learn a lesson. The sign for the gas and go grows closer, the clouds darker as these thoughts come. I didn't find him. I didn't do what I now think a mother should have done, a good mother. Suddenly, I know why. The car slows. I step on the gas, but it doesn't respond. I am not a good mother. I can't hold them back now, the thoughts of my dead child, Annie. Not that they ever really leave me. They're always lurking, hiding, wearing disguises so I don't see them as they sneak up. I steer to the shoulder. The wheel's stiff. The car's dead. When it stops, I try the ignition, but it won't turn over. I see the message on the dashboard. I've run out of gas. How long has the light been on? I've been preoccupied by this day, by these thoughts. John was right. I shouldn't have made this trip. Not today. I look down Route 7 and see the entrance for the station. It can't be more than 30 feet. The wind whips hard, rocking the car. I can see the rain coming on an army of clouds, a blanket closing over the sky. I can't tell how far away they are, how much time I have. Thoughts exploding, heart pounding. What have I done? Now comes the thought about the fire last night. We have 4 fireplaces in our house, all of them wood burning. I've been making fires and stoking fires since we moved there 12 years ago. I know what a log looks like when it's just been placed on top of the flames. I have no umbrella, just a flimsy jacket. I put it on anyway. I reach for my purse and tuck it inside. It's only 30 feet. I open the door, get out, close it behind me, and I run, clutching the purse. I run into the wind, which is more powerful than I imagined. I run and think about that log which had just been put there last night on the fire. John wasn't asleep. John was pretending to be asleep so he wouldn't have to see me, even just long enough to say good night. It's not the first time. Flashes of the fight with Nicole break free as my body pushes through the wind. We fight every day now. Open your eyes! The fight had been so fast and furious. I had not processed every word, but I do now. They are open. I see you clear as day, Nicole. Not to me, to your own husband. I can't see what's right in front of me. He never comes home for dinner. He pretends to be asleep when I come into our bedroom. My husband doesn't love me anymore. My husband loves someone else. This thought feels old, like a jagged stone I've been carrying in my coat pocket, trying to rub it smooth. But no matter how much I dig my fingers in, the edges never soften. And then the words I had not heard before, but had felt many times, still hearing them from my own daughter, twisting the knife. I hate you. Tears fall as I run. Annie, wispy blonde hair resting on delicate shoulders, big round eyes and long lashes. I can still feel her in my arms, her life just beginning. Annie. Annie. And now I know why the thoughts have all come. They've been leading me to this one, last thought, this naked admission. I'm not a good mother, because I did not drive 4 hours to watch my son play football so that he would feel loved. I drove 4 hours so that I could feel loved. The log in that fireplace, my daughter's words, I hate you. Evan was all that was left. I had to see his face, see him thriving so I could validate my life. Gasps of breath. The wind is strong and the air cold. My lungs are on fire. Maybe Evan knew. Maybe he could sense it seeping from my skin, the need I wanted him to fulfill, which must have felt like poison. A mother shouldn't need things from her child. I caused Nicole's demise. She's certain of it, and now it feels real, though disorienting. I went to my son under false pretenses, caused him pain, caused him to lash out with cruelty. My husband pretends to sleep so he won't have to look at me. Yes, I think, as the grief spins violently in my head, I am a bad mother. This is an objective fact. There's no way around it. I let a child die. I'm at the entrance to the Gas and Go. I look up and see there are no cars, no lights on inside the store. Orange cones stand in front of the pump. The rain comes suddenly. The blanket covering the sky is now a broken dam. It's dark, but I can still see the writing on a cardboard sign. Closed for storm. I stop and let the rain wash over me as I stare at these words. Evan, Nicole, John. I'm a burden to them now because they don't love me, because they can't love me. It's been 5 years to this very day that they stopped. 5 years since Annie died. 5 years since she ran into the road. 5 years since I struck her with my car. Since I killed her. Tears, rain, wind. I walk a few paces to the intersection to the road, Hastings Pass, that leads to the town. There's nothing but pavement and dirt riding over hills and the dead cornstalks in the fields that go on and on, not another car in sight. The hurricane is a Category 4. That's what they said on the radio. I remember the voices now. I remember the name of this town, Hastings. I've driven into the eye of the storm. I hear the mantra in my head, don't give up. I feel the weight of my guilt like a rock I hold above my head. How I fight to keep it from falling. I think now that maybe it's time. Maybe I can just let it fall. Maybe I can just walk away. These words bring a sudden jarring euphoria. Walk away. Just walk away. The road with the brown cornfields, darkened by the angry storm, is now a thing of beauty, an oasis, an escape. My legs begin to move, pulling my body. My mind is in a trance, sedated by these words and the promises they offer. You can leave all of this behind. You can start again. You can put down the rock, the burden you carry. I walk along this road until I'm part of the storm, numb to the wet, numb to the cold, numb to the truth about the promises. And for the first time since I killed my child, I am at peace. Please let me go. Let me walk away. I feel the words in my head like a prayer. Please, they whisper, don't look for me. I don't know how long I walk, or how far, when I see lights coming from behind. I turn to find headlights moving slowly toward me. They're high and bright. It's a truck of some kind, tall but also long. And in spite of the trance I'm in and the peace it has brought, I feel both my arms rise above my head and wave wildly, the purse still clutched in one hand. The truck pulls in front of me and comes to a stop. I walk closer until I'm inches beside the passenger window. There are 2 figures inside. I make a shield with my hand, just above my eyes to keep the rain from my face. I lean in closer and see the window come down a few inches. The storm's coming, you know. You shouldn't be out here. It's a man's voice, friendly, but also urgent. Do you want a ride to town? Another voice calls from the truck. The window comes down a few more inches. The voice of a little girl, the face of an angel. Well, do you or don't you? She asks. I stare at her blonde hair and bright eyes, and beyond her at the man. I stare at her, this young girl, and God help me, for a split second I see my dead child. And then I see this road for what it truly is, a mirage, an illusion, and the words that cause my legs to carry me away from my life, liars. Their promises, nothing more than cheap deceptions. The guilt will never leave me. I will never leave my family. Yes, I say. The passenger window of the truck closes and the girl disappears. But now I hear the click of the locks opening. I reach for the handle of the door to the second row. desperate to be out of the storm, desperate to get back to my family, to forget what I've almost done. This storm might have killed me. The wind and the cold, then the guilt would be theirs to carry. John, Nicole, Evan. How could I be that selfish after everything I've already done to them? I will never think of it again. I climb inside, close the door, relief fighting with despair. And before I can clear the rain from my eyes and see what's really before me, I hear the click again. The doors locking, shut. That was the first chapter, the first incredible chapter of Don't Look For Me. And let me tell you, this is an amazing book. So you don't have to wait long to pick this up. You can go and grab yourself a copy because it publishes next week on Tuesday, September 15th. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you didn't mind that I read a little bit longer than I perhaps normally do. But it's giving me goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps as I sit there and read the book. So don't forget, there is a giveaway today for this one on both Facebook and Instagram. Or for one of them, Wendy, who's with us now, who's watching now, is going to pick a winner. So make sure in the few minutes, certainly on Instagram that are left, that you leave a comment. And if you join us later on, don't worry. If you want to watch the episode again from the beginning, I will save it, of course, to our Facebook and to our Instagram, because we save all of the episodes, and today's was episode 88. 88! Crazy. Hank is saying, such a good book. Thank you for trusting it to us. Yes, thank you very much, Wendy. It's such a pleasure to read that for you. And I did also read Wendy's the night before. I can't remember the date, but you'll see it in the archive, so go and have a listen to that one as well. Sharon Doering, we read from her book too, She Lies Close. What a compelling hook. I love this book so much. Yes, I did too. Absolutely brilliant. And Sherry says, I just finished an arc of this one and it was really good. It was really good. It was absolutely brilliant. Jamie says, I was lucky to get an arc also, and it makes hearing the first chapter again that much better. And Emily says, just ordered it. And Beck says, anyone in Toronto, Indigo has it. Yes, they do. And if you're in the greater Toronto area, of course, you can always get a copy from A Different Drummer, the independent bookshop, which I absolutely love. And Ian Elliott, the owner, is such a champion of authors. And they will deliver or ship to you for free, I believe, still for COVID. Okay, so more information about Thursday's read. Drum roll. Can I get a drum roll? This is Thursday's read, Good Girls Lie, another thriller by J.T. Ellison, this one. And J.T. is just absolutely wonderful and writes phenomenal books, and this one is no exception. So this will be on Thursday at 11:30 Eastern Time. So Thursday's the last reading. Don't worry, it's not the last ever reading. It's just the last reading at 11:30 a.m. And then as of next week, we flip to 12:30 p.m. So make sure you join us on Thursday for Good Girls Lie by J.T. Ellison. And of course, go and check out and pre-order and all the rest of it, Don't Look For Me by Wendy Walker, which publishes on Tuesday. All right. So Wendy says, thanks so much. That was so great. You're very welcome, Wendy. Thank you so much for trusting us with your wonderful, wonderful novel. I can't wait for the next one. Gimme. Is it ready yet? Chop, chop. Go finish writing it. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. A little bit rainy here today, rainy and stormy, so I'll be working on my next novel and reading because, you know, it's raining. So I hope that you will join us on Thursday. So until then, as always, please stay safe, stay kind, and we'll see you on Thursday. Thank you for watching.